Hey guys, Aaron the Nintintrovert here, and I just recently got back from vacation. My family and I took a trip to the beach over the past week, and while I was gone, Nintendo went and announced a new Splatoon game, just randomly out of the blue. Just wake up and there's a Twitter drop, or in this case, I guess it was a Nintendo. What's there at Nintendo Today? A Nintendo Today app news drop or whatever. Anyway, they announced a new Splatoon game called Splatoon Raiders, which is some sort of a Splatoon spinoff. And yeah, I just thought we would do a little video talking about it now that I'm back on vacation. We are going to play the trailer. Now, this isn't like a blind reaction. I did see this trailer while I was on vacation. But we're going to watch through it one more time together, and then I might go back through it and pause it at interesting moments and see if we can see what we can figure out about this game, what to make of it. But I'm excited. So with all that, let's switch our feed here, and let's play the trailer. Let's go full screen. Nintendo presents the Spiralite Islands, huh? Is that the rumor we're chasing this time? According to the map in the basement. Whose basement? I don't know. Didn't read the article, Fry. There they are. So we've got this big, like, tropical storm going on here. I don't know if they're going into, like, the eye of a hurricane or what. But yeah, it looks pretty interesting. Splatoon spinoff. Visually, I think the graphics look fantastic in this game. So yeah, I think you can tell it's definitely a big step up visuals-wise from Splatoon 3. At least I can anyway. I've heard some people say that they don't think it looks all that different, but I think it looks pretty nice. You can kind of see like the individual grains in the sand. I think that shot looks great. That big swirling vortex in the back. Splatoon Raiders. So yeah, do they show us any more gameplay here? I think they maybe do. Got a weird eyeball thing. I don't know what that is, if it's an octoling or what.
What's cracking, Squid Squad? Incoming report from the Squid Research Lab. Without further ado, we're excited to share our latest findings.
Hopefully you can hear this okay. I don't know. I've got it turned down kind of low because I didn't want to get double audio on the microphone.
The first ever Splatoon spin-off game coming ashore.
Turn it up just a little bit.
Splatoon Raiders. Playing as a mechanic, you'll go on an adventure in the mysterious Spiralite Islands alongside Deep Cut. Splatoon Raiders is launching exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2 system, but research is still underway.
Yeah, so we don't get a release date or anything, unfortunately. Hopefully it's coming this year, though. And then I think they just go on to explain some updates for Splatoon 3, which is cool, but we're not really here for that necessarily. Yeah, I think it looks interesting. There's still a lot that we don't know, so it's hard to know what to make of it. We're going to go back through it one more time, and I'm going to periodically pause and just talk about different key things, some of my takeaways. But one thing I want to say, I am very excited about this game. I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic, but Splatoon for me has always been kind of just for me personally, kind of a B tier Nintendo franchise. I understand that it's very popular. The games sell very well, and in Japan it's like a really big phenomenon. The reason that Splatoon has never quite grabbed me so much is because I'm not the biggest fan of like online PvP shooter games. I'm also not very great at them. I suck at shooters, so that kind of limits the game's appeal to me just a little bit. But something like this is right up my alley, and I'm pretty sure back in my predictions video for the June Nintendo Switch 2 presentation, I predicted that maybe we would get like a single player focused Splatoon spin-off game. I was maybe a month or so off the mark there, but hey, we are finally getting it. Or I should say the April presentation, right? Is that when they had the full? That was when they had the full unveiling, right? And they showed off Mario Kart World and all that stuff. Yeah, April. I don't know why I said June. But anyway, because we're in June right now. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this because that probably is my favorite part of every Splatoon game is the single player. Although it can be a little bit hit or miss sometimes for me. I know for like Splatoon 1, I really enjoyed the single player campaign. I thought it was a lot of fun. Kind of had some Super Mario Galaxy vibes in some ways, just the way that you would, zip like to different floating islands that were almost kind of like the planets from Mario Galaxy, and then you had some really cool bosses that felt like Mario Galaxy in a way, and some fun mechanics like there might be a level with invisible platforms, and so you'd have to shoot ink on the ground, and then to make it visible, and now you can see the path that you need to go. Kind of reminded me of in Mario 3D World. There was a couple levels where there was like an invisible floor, and you'd be walking on this light path, and when these bullet bills blow up, then it would kind of illuminate it, and you could kind of see where you needed to go, or you could do kind of like a ground pound to see further ahead of you. So it had some really cool mechanics. I really enjoyed the single player. Then, of course, it culminates into that final boss with DJ Octavio, and you've got that really cool, that really sick Katamari incantation that plays. So that was really cool. Then Splatoon 2 came out, and I was kind of underwhelmed with the single player campaign in that game. It mostly just felt like more or less the same. They kind of introduced some new gimmicks. You had the whole like zip lining mechanic, which a lot of other games have done it, so it wasn't like game changing. Like we've seen it in Sonic, we've seen it in a million other games that have something similar where you're grinding along rails. But then they came out with the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, which was great. I really, really enjoyed that. It was kind of more of a mission structure. Still had some platforming in there for sure, but it was a lot of these like individual missions, some of which were very challenging, but it was a lot of fun and had some great music and also culminated in a really, really good final boss. And then Splatoon 3 kind of underwhelmed with that game's campaign. They introduced, I think there was like a grapple mechanic, and like in the trailers when they first announced Splatoon 3, it looked like it was going to be so much more interesting than what it was. Like in that initial debut trailer back in like, when was that? Was that like early 2021? I want to say was the Nintendo Direct where they announced Splatoon 3, and then the game didn't even come out until like late 2023. But it kind of looked like maybe it was going to be kind of open world because you just saw your Inkling character, and then she had this little salmonid or whatever that was like your companion, and it looked like she was just in this vast desert, right, with like just all these sand dunes that go on for like miles, and there's this big like inverted Eiffel Tower stuck in the sand. So it looked cool. It looked like it was going to be very large scale, big scope, just kind of go wherever you want and explore and ink the place up. But that ended up not being what it was. Unfortunately, it was kind of just more linear. I did enjoy like the opening and the ending of the Splatoon 3 single player campaign. But overall, I thought it was a little bit underwhelming. I would have liked to have seen more. Some cool lore development with like the mammalians and stuff. But and then we finally got the Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC, which I think just came out. Was that last year when that came out? Like early last year? So it's really not been super long. And it was okay. I kind of liked it, but I'm just not a big fan of roguelike experiences, To me, I just feel like that gets very like repetitive, and it's kind of an artificial way to pad out a game that would otherwise be very short. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the Side Order DLC. Now this, again, I don't fully know what to make of it. I'm very interested. I'm very excited. I'm hoping maybe this is going to be something a little bit more open-ended where you can like go to all these different islands and explore kind of more freely in kind of this open sandbox sort of area. But I'm not for sure that that's what we're getting here. But yeah, we're going to go back through this trailer here, and I will pause periodically. And we'll just kind of break down what we're seeing. So they start off with saying Nintendo Presents, and I think that's very interesting. Because I feel like typically, there may be some other games that do this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's typically reserved for like Zelda games do that a lot, like Breath of the Wild did. and Tears of the Kingdom, and I want to say Skyward Sword did as well, where it just starts saying Nintendo Presents, almost like you're strapping in for like a movie or something. But most Nintendo games don't do that. Like I don't think Mario Odyssey did that, as far as I can remember. I don't know if Kirby and the Forgotten Land did that, although that game has a pretty cinematic opening. But so it's kind of interesting to see here. So that gives me a little bit of hope. I know that's a very little thing to go off of, and that might not even be necessarily indicative of the final product. It might not start like this, but I just think that's kind of interesting. So let's continue on. We've got our captain there. I can't really tell who that is talking, and almost just by that gibberish, almost kind of it sounded like a female. It almost kind of sounded like it could have been Callie or Marie or one of the other idols in Splatoon. But yeah, here we have Shiver and Fry and what was this guy's name? Big Man? Is that what they call him? I guess yeah, because he's a manta ray, so I guess that's the pun. And so yeah, they are the trio that's kind of like the musical group of Splatoon 3. I kind of wish they'd went with something different, to be honest. I feel like every Splatoon game, every Splatoon game they introduce these new female pop idols, and I feel like with each game it just kind of gets weaker and weaker. Like Callie and Marie were pretty cool, and then you have Pearl and Marina. I really liked Marina a lot; she was pretty cool, but Pearl was just very ugly looking, like some kind of genetic deformity. I don't know what they're putting in the water, dumping the toxic waste into the Splatoon landfills. But yeah, Pearl's kind of an odd one. And then finally we have Shiver and Fry here, which and Big Man. But I don't know. I feel like it's time to do something a little bit different. Like I don't know what. Instead of these like female pop groups, maybe for the next mainline Splatoon game we get like a I don't know, like a boy band or something. It's a quartet or something of four dudes, or maybe just like drop the pop star thing entirely. I don't know, but yeah, I'm a little bit about them being here. Like if they were gonna put any of the idols, I would rather either they come up with some new ones because I was never the biggest fan of like Shiver and Fry here or Big Man, or just do like Callie and Marie. Honestly, I feel like they're the most iconic ones. They're from the first game. So yeah, I'm not too crazy about them being here, but it's fine. It's not a like game breaker or anything. So let's keep going here. Let's go back a little bit. So we get this shot here. You don't get a great look at it. You see some beach here, and I guess mountain in the background. Like it's only there for a second, and it's kind of blurry, so you don't get a great look at it. So I don't know if we're going to be able to traverse all that, if all that is explorable or what. Let's keep going here. Man, everything goes so quickly. I don't know what button it is that you press to go like frame by frame through video. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, here we see some onshore stuff. I really hope we can just like set foot on all of this and just freely explore it, and that this isn't just here for like a visual, set dressing or whatever. I want to be able to like walk to all these places. I don't know what these structures are here. It almost looks like a pair of arms doing like this. Go. So I don't know if that's some kind of a like I'm trying to think, is there any kind of like fish species that look like that? It almost looks like a chess piece or something, but just with these like arms coming out of it. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it and it's not supposed to resemble any kind of plant or sea life or anything. Very interesting, this kind of like spiral up the palm tree here. We got our map. They've got it circled, this one little island here. I guess there's a couple of them, but mostly this circular one. So I don't know what's with these other, because they explicitly mentioned that there's like multiple islands. So I don't know why just this one is circled. Was it the Spiralite Islands? I think they call it, which is kind of a cool name. And then some people have been saying it almost kind of is like a reminiscent of like the Bermuda Triangle or something. This kind of mysterious place. They're getting sucked into it, like people disappearing. So that could be a cool angle if that's what they're going with. Really cool skybox here. The skybox in Mario Kart World looks really good, very realistic. So yeah, you can see that advanced lighting and whatnot of the Switch 2. I'm not a tech expert, so I couldn't tell you what I was going on here. Ray tracing, whatever. I don't know, but it looks good. And then we got this little pier here, whatever this is. It has wheels. So are you able to like commandeer this? Like, can you pilot it? And it looks like we've got this claw. So is this going to be kind of like a maybe like a Wind Waker thing or like Paper Mario the Origami King, where like you can go spelunking into the sea? I don't think that's the right word. I think spelunking is like in caves, but whatever you call it, and finding treasure buried underground, steering this thing around because again, it's got wheels here. I feel like in real life the ergonomics of this wouldn't work. These little wheels attached to this giant uh, contraption here. But so that's interesting. I don't know if you'll be digging for treasure, maybe taking this to all these different islands. I'm kind of piecing it together as I'm watching this. Maybe that's why it's called Splatoon Raiders, because we are raiding the sea for we're pillaging for some treasure, for some pirate booty. Um, so yeah, I guess maybe this also kind of acts as our little hub area. Maybe there'll be like, because this is a very big area with a lot of walking around. So I imagine maybe like Shiver and Fry have like shops set up or something where you can upgrade your abilities, or there's got to be something more to it because why would it be so large? Why not just a little boat that's just big enough for your character? And then here in the background, hopefully, I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen. Hopefully you can. I'm circling here along the horizon in the middle. There's like looks like some kind of ruins sticking out of the water. Maybe some kind of like Atlantis sort of thing. I don't know what to make of it. But yeah, so I'm hoping we'll be able to traverse, go to all these individual islands and explore. Um, let's keep going. The water looks really nice, by the way. And there they are. They've got fishing gear. So I don't know if that'll be a component. And there's our protagonist, which I'm sure will be like past Splatoon games where you can do a male or female version. So this is the female Octoling. Or different styles because I guess they're being gender neutral now, but whatever. Um, so yeah, let's keep going. I don't know that there's a whole lot to see in that shot. She's got a little hook in her hair. So yeah, like fishing, plundering, pillaging seems to be kind of the theme of this game. I'm assuming there's no real gameplay purpose to why she's inking big man here, but yeah, I'm trying to see. So we got this big contraption that tags along with us. I don't know if maybe this thing stores the treasure that we find. But yeah, like looking through here, it seems like maybe it's going to be kind of open exploration. This is that great shot that I love. This would be a really good wallpaper for like a desktop or something. That looks really really good. But yeah, like I was a little concerned earlier on, like because they called it a spin-off, but it's like, well, what does that fully entail? Because that could mean that like, okay, well, it's going to be like something similar to the single player modes that we've seen in previous Splatoon games, where it's shooting, but it's also platforming, and you're going through these linear, A to B, levels and doing missions and stuff. Or it could be something completely different. They could change genres entirely, which I don't really want to see. Because part of me, like when I saw that little like boat thing that we were on, that pier that was like rigged up with wheels, I had a thought of like, well, what if you just like stay in that area, and what if it's almost like a tower defense thing, and you're like warding off enemies, kind of a little bit like, I guess a little bit like the Salmon Run mode, but more tower defensey. But I don't think that's what it is. At least I hope it's not. But the more I look at it, and as I kind of take this look through it, slowly pausing, I'm inclined to think that that's not what it is. But it looks nice. Got these palm trees back here. This storm that I feel like would have just caused the Switch 1 to explode, probably. I don't know. So what else do we have here? Let's unpause it. Got a black screen. We got our logo. And this is interesting, too. The Splatoon Raiders, they go for this orange and green kind of color scheme. which almost sort of looks reminiscent to the Salmon Run logo. I feel like it looks very similar. Let me look it up real quick on my phone here. Um, let's see. Salmon Run. Yeah. So looking at the official art, this one's from Splatoon 3. Um, but yeah, the logo, if you can see that, and even just I don't know how well you can see that. I don't have it where I can see the camera, but the logo and even just the whole color palette, the orange and green of this whole piece of concept art with their outfits and the background and everything looks similar to that. So I hope it's not like a wave system of like tower defense. I hope it's more like substantial than that with like actual full levels to explore, ideally more open levels, because you got to think, I don't know what that eyeball is, I'm not going to bother speculating on that, but you got to think this is going to be presumably the most expensive Splatoon game to date, even if it's a spin-off. Switch 2 games are, base $70 and only goes up from there for the most part. So fingers crossed, that if the game is going to cost that much, that there's going to be a meaty amount of stuff to do in this single player campaign to justify that. Because Splatoon, if the campaign's the same length as the campaign in other Splatoon games, that's not going to cut it. Because the main focus of Splatoon's always been the multiplayer, the competitive stuff, all the different stages and the different modes, and the ranked modes and your weapons and all that stuff. So if none of that's there, then there's a lot riding on this single player campaign. So I hope it's good. I hope it's meaty. I hope it's not the sort of thing that you're going to be able to beat in like 5 hours. And then like, oh, well, if you want to 100% everything, there's like 20 hours worth of replay value. But all of that just amounts to just replaying the same missions over and over and over again, but just with different weapon types or something, and just a lot of grinding. I want there to be substantial stuff to do here. I want it to be like Pikmin 4, where that game probably takes maybe like 20 hours or something for a casual playthrough. It took me about 40 hours to 100% complete that game. And all of that was substantial content. It wasn't a bunch of like tedious doing the same things over and over again. It was 40 hours of exploring all of these sandbox areas and finding all of these collectibles and doing all these side quests that were different from each other, and all these Dondori challenges, and not just recycling the same content over and over and over again. So if this is going to be $70, again, I hope we're going to see more of that. And then we just have this person narrating, kind of talking over, I think, mostly the same footage we've already seen.
Without further ado, we're excited to share our latest findings.
But we'll play it again and see if there's anything new that we can extrapolate here.
What you just
Don't know who that is piloting. Again, they had a feminine voice that almost kind of sounded like Callie or Marie or somebody. I could be wrong on that. They look short and stubby, so maybe not. It almost kind of makes me think of like, what's that one shop owner, I think, from Splatoon 2, that's like the girl that's got like she's got like a reef on her head or something. I don't know. It's been a bit. Not really seeing anything in here worth pointing out.
Splatoon spin-off game coming ashore. Splatoon Raiders. Playing as a mechanic, you'll go on an adventure in the mysterious spiralite.
We're a mechanic, so that's interesting, because I mentioned that about, it seems like maybe you do a lot of spelunking and treasure hunting. But if we're a mechanic, then that, no pun intended, throws a wrench into things. No, so I don't know if we're just going to be upgrading this ship. Maybe it's a thing where we can only travel to nearby islands, but we have to gather the right materials to upgrade our ship, where we're a mechanic, and then we can upgrade it to where we can go to further off islands, and that's how we progress. I don't know. This is interesting, this little shark thing that she has on her canister here. I guess just there for decoration, but kind of cool looking.
Alongside Deep Cut.
Yeah, and I don't know what that big robot following us is for, again, unless it's just for like holding materials, or maybe some way we can fight with it, or it can terraform the terrain or something. I don't know. Probably not, but it reminds me a lot of the mech in, I've been playing Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, and I just got the mech on there that lets you terraform like in Animal Crossing. Probably not what it does here, but that mech looks very similar.
On the Nintendo Switch 2 system, but research is still underway. We'll report more on our findings when the
Yeah, so
results
again,
are
no
in.
release date. I would have to imagine it's probably coming out this year, right? Um, or at least within the Switch 2's first year. But that's that. Again, we're not going to talk about the Splatoon 3 stuff. Let's flip back over to the face only camera. But yeah, that's the new Splatoon game coming out. I think it looks really cool. I'm excited for it. This might actually be one of my most anticipated Switch 2 games now. And again, I'm not like the biggest Splatoon guy necessarily, but that's mostly just because I'm not that into online competitive shooters. Um, but this isn't that. This is a single player focused Splatoon game, and again, that's kind of the majority of what I play Splatoon for is the single player. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game. It is kind of interesting that we got this now because when I went on vacation to the beach this past week, I actually took like all my recording equipment with me. I took my laptop and my camera and everything because there were rumors that we were going to be getting a Nintendo Direct that week, which didn't end up happening. So now this kind of throws a weird wrench into things of like, well, are we getting a June Nintendo Direct? Because like you would think we would, because Nintendo typically does one. You know, historically, June was always E3 season, and even though E3 is kind of dead now, you still had like Jeff Keighley did his like Summer Games Fest, but then also like Xbox, Microsoft, they had their own showcase. PlayStation had their showcase. So it just makes sense that Nintendo would follow through and still kind of have that spirit of E3 competition where all of the major console holders have their June presentation to show their big guns of what's coming in the next year. Um, so yeah, and especially with this being the launch year of the new console that just came out, I feel like it'd be very weird if we don't get one this month. But who knows? Only time will tell. And if we get one this coming week or the week after that, or maybe Nintendo's going to do something weird and give us one in like July instead. I don't know. Maybe they're tired of doing it in June and they want to do it in a different month. I don't know. Who knows? With Switch 2, they might have just completely be changing their patterns of how they do things. But we still have a lot of unknowns. Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming out next month. We've got the release date for that, but I feel like Nintendo's got more that they probably want to share. We'll probably get at least one more trailer on that game. Find out about that leaked artwork of like a young Pauline in there or whatever that's about. And then also, we've not seen any footage yet of Kirby Air Riders, which I believe is supposed to come out this year. So yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. So I hope we get a Nintendo Direct sooner rather than later. But yeah, with this new Splatoon Raiders game, this is looking to be a pretty stacked first year for the Nintendo Switch 2. Already we've got Mario Kart World, which just came out earlier this month, and then the Welcome Tour game, but we're not really going to include that. But Mario Kart World, and then next month we've got Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then we've got we don't have a release date yet, but we've got that Hyrule Warriors new game coming out, Age of Imprisonment. And not all of these are strictly Switch 2 exclusive games, but we've got Metroid Prime 4 coming out. We got Pokemon Legends ZA coming out, which that game got a release date very recently. And then we don't know when these games are coming out next year, but I would have to imagine probably in the first half of next year. We got the new Tomodachi Live game coming out. We got Rhythm Heaven coming out. So that right there, that's 7. Pretty notable first party Nintendo Switch / Nintendo Switch 2 games. Because who cares if it's not an exclusive? Because like it's going to look better, it's going to run better. It may as well be a Switch 2 game. If you already have a Switch 2, it's fully backwards compatible with the Switch 1. So like it doesn't make a difference to me. I don't care. Either way, I'm going to have a lot of games to play on your Nintendo Switch 2 in the coming months ahead. So I think that's pretty exciting. Plus there's that like drag and drive game, the like wheelchair basketball thing that doesn't look that great to be honest, but that is another one. So that's like 8, and then I guess 9 if you count the welcome tour thing. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty good lineup. I think after that like June Nintendo Direct and everything, I felt like I keep saying June, that April Nintendo Direct where they did the full Switch 2 presentation. Felt like Nintendo needed at least one more game this year in the lineup to really have a decently stacked year. And I think the Splatoon does that. I do still hope that in the first calendar year, like by next June, um, that we do get a new 3D Mario game, ideally like an open world sandbox type game. But I would say the Switch 2 is off to a very good start, software library wise. And then, of course, that's not accounting for all the third party games, too. We between the Street Fighter 6 at launch and Cyberpunk and, the Hogwarts Legacy and Split Fiction and all that stuff, which, again, that's just launch day. The fast racing, what's that new fast racing game called? I don't remember. By Shinan. But you had that, and then a bunch of other stuff that's going to be coming out. Elden Ring, probably a bunch of stuff I'm forgetting about. But yeah, so pretty good first year, all things considered, I think. And yeah, so I guess that's going to be pretty much a wrap on this video. I'm looking forward to Splatoon Raiders, the third in the Raiders series. First we had Tomb Raider, then we had Sheep Raider starring Ralph E. Wolf. How many people know about that game? And now we got Splatoon Raider. There's probably other games, I'm sure, that have Raiders in the title, but if so, I don't know what they are. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this video, guys. I'll catch you all later. Thanks so much for watching. And who knows, maybe, especially since they're doing that Splatoon 3 update and adding in, they're bringing back, Urchin Underpass from the first Splatoon game. Didn't realize that it wasn't in 3. Maybe I was thinking of 2. I don't know. But they're adding new content and stuff. So maybe, maybe we'll do some streams of that on the channel. I suck at it, but I could title it, Sucking at Splatoon 3 Live. That might be something we start doing. But anyway, that'll be a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.